I hope that by now you all believe that startups are extremely sexy. So today we're going to talk about legacy code in banking. I used to be a head of product at ING. We developed a new product, everything was exciting, we were missing one feature, joint accounts. And we thought to ourselves, hey, joint accounts, how difficult could it be, right? We already have it. What we realized is that it's going to take us an entire year to get this feature deployed. And the reason is that the code behind it is so complex and so old that only Bob, the soon-to-retire engineer, is actually able to do anything meaningful in this code base, right? And this may sound funny, but this is an actual challenge many banks face every day. The choice between staying within the difficult and complex legacy systems or going into a completely different dynamic of doing these large modernization programs that start at $300 million, promise to finish in 5 years but take towards 10, and less than 30% of them are actually successful. This is a massive challenge, and we decided that in 2025, it's time to do it differently. Tweezr is an AI-powered surgical development assistant designed for legacy code in banking. It enables developers to make fast and precise changes in complex legacy code across tens of millions of lines of code in a way that enables the existing systems to become more maintainable. In the short term, it means that your existing developers are becoming more productive, it saves them more time, and in the long term, it means that you are able to make the system maintainable and therefore potentially not even need to replace a banking system anymore. Quite a significant thing. If I take us to our demo today, we thought it would be interesting to talk about the type of systems that you all would love to hear and to see. So we took a demo, even though Tweezr is able to deal with most types of software or programming language, today we took a system that is based in COBOL, data structures in VSUM, functional calls in CISCS. So the good stuff, the type of stuff that developers always dreams of learning if they're about 70 years old. And with that in mind, we are taking the use case that is my personal favorite of joint accounts. So just before, because what we're doing is for developers, this is going to be quite detailed and technical, but we'll make sure to highlight the key points for those of you who have not got the chance to enjoy the joys of coding. So I will place here what is an equivalent to a Jira ticket that me as a product manager will be writing about opening a joint account, right? Just being able to say, I want to have the functionality that does joint account. It needs to be connecting customers to multiple accounts, multiple customers to an account. What then is played back is what we call an enriched feature request. What you see here is a breakdown of that original thought process coming from the developer or the product manager, breaks it down into smaller pieces that enable the developer to have a meaningful conversation with either the product manager or his team to understand that he's actually heading towards the right direction when it comes to that feature request within the types of systems that we're talking about. The next step that is happening in the background, and we kind of compressed it a bit, is Tweezr does pre-processing of the entire code base to be able to retrieve and pull the most relevant parts of the code to be able to make changes that are relevant to this specific request. As a result of it, we are able to provide a very, what we call a solution plan. So here's the detailed part. Apologies, I'll walk us through. So on the left-hand side, what you see is the feature request itself. On the right is the explorer for easy navigation, as well as the sizing. How much effort, how much time is it going to take to make this thing happen? The center is the heart of what Tweezr does. We call it a solution plan. It's sort of an equivalent to having the conversation with Bob that guides you through what is the system, what does it do, where does it need to change, and why. And more than that, well, Bob would usually just give you high-level description. Here you will actually get sample pieces of code. This is COBOL, which we all would love to learn together, that enables a developer to know exactly what needs to change. Okay? So that's the heart of Tweezr. If I kind of pull back away from the product, the problem of legacy code is actually the CIO's #1 challenge, right, in a bank, because it's so big, it's so complex, it drains so much effort. Being able to address it is a massive shift, because even though it is very high in its strategic importance, it requires, and what Tweezr does, it goes extremely deep and into the most detailed types of challenges of the organization at a code level. And even though it touches code, it is very different to a developer assistant, the ones that we know and all hear about, because it's actually quite complementary to them. Where most development assistants are focused on enabling developers to come up with the right piece of code when they know where to go, when we're talking about a complex legacy environment, the biggest challenge is to understand, where do you even start? Where should I go? What should I be looking at? That effort that we call code archaeology might take a developer a week or two just to understand where to start this process. That same thing that we just saw happening within minutes. So with this, maybe a last point about Tweezr. Tweezr is developed and designed for highly regulated environments. Everything is developed to be on-premise, LLM agnostic, not touching any customer data or any PII, right? So it's a compliance team's dream. Finally, if kind of what you need to take out of this. In the short term, it means that your developers can become more effective, productive, and get to focus on the most important challenges. In the long term, we basically work from the assumption that there's nothing wrong in the legacy system. And if you're able to make them agile, dynamic, be able to move like a modern system, the value that you get in the organization is dramatically better, and potentially avoiding and obviating the entire need for a replacement. I want to welcome you, if you want to talk to us in the booth, and to help us make legacy software a problem of the past, and let Bob have a fantastic vacation. Thank you very much.